Hi, my name is Nathan. I'm just doing my project on blind spot sensors. In about 1995, maybe 2000 up to 2001, a guy named George Platzer had the idea of creating some sort of an assistance for a blind spot area. In the earlier ideas, he decided to try and integrate a self-adjusting mirror. So in practice, as you're driving down the road, you would have a car kind of drive up on your blind spot and your mirror would adjust by itself, so when you go to look, if you're ever making a lane change or anything like that, you'd notice him in your blind spot. In theory, it sounded like a pretty good idea, but in 2001, Volvo ended up teaming up with George to integrate it in their concept car. It was just called the Volvo SCC, Volvo Safety Concept Car. And in theory, it was a really great idea. It was just the only issue that in practice, a lot of the drivers, whether they were experienced or inexperienced, kind of noticed that it was impeding the ability, and they would notice that driving down the road, they'd go to look in their blind spot, or they'd go to look for their blind spot, and they notice that their mirror wasn't always in the right area, or maybe it wasn't kind of aligning properly. So it just kind of created a bit more of a hassle, and then you're kind of looking for a spot to look through, kind of getting your vision proper while you're trying to look in your blind spots. So they ended up scrapping the idea, but not the whole concept. He kept the concept alive and just kind of integrated a camera system with it. So now, instead of having your mirrors adjust, you just kind of had a camera that was on the side of your car, whether it was under your mirror, just on the side of your body, and it would sit there and it would watch. And when they would have a car kind of go into its field of view, it would, hey, blah, 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 ding, 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 you got a car there, don't jump over, don't kill both of y'all. So, after that, as the years kind of went on, he decided to try out like a radar system. It was a little bit more accurate up to a distance too. Had a pretty good accuracy for up to about 10 feet behind the car, whether it was on one side or the other. In 2003, Volvo ended up teaming back up with George to throw it in their production line. I think the first car was the Volvo XC90, the SUV model. And there was just a lot of good practice just over the years. They ended up throwing it in a lot of their more commonly driven cars, commonly produced cars. It was originally a lot of the higher trims for Volvo, but they kind of scrapped that really early on. Ford being a really good parent company, having a lot of companies that are underneath them, having a lot of influence on a lot of the automotive companies, they decided to jump on the bandwagon a little bit early, just after Volvo, and decided to throw in the integrated system. They used both the camera systems and the radar systems just as the years kind of progressed, got a little bit better, upgraded with the models. Mazda was a pretty good Japanese company. They're the first Japanese company to integrate the BSM, the blind spot monitoring systems, or the BLIS, the blind spot information systems, kind of the same word, just to play on words, however you feel like saying it today. The Mazda, like Ford, like Volvo, mainly used in a lot of their higher trim models, fancier models, sports models, that kind of thing. After about 2012, 2013, they started kind of bringing it down a little bit cheaper, throwing in a lot of their production models, a lot of their basic cars. But Mitsubishi was one of the later companies, one of the later big companies that kind of joined in with it. They, I think it was around 2015, 2014, they really took off. Maybe 2012, they had, like usual, their higher trim models, sports models, luxury packs, that kind of thing. If you've got the money to use, spend it, sort of thing. Ended up bringing it down with their production models after about 2016. A lot of the lower end trim basic models just kind of had it. And it was pretty good. They noticed that since the introduction of the BSM or the BLIS systems, there was about 14% decrease in like lane-to-lane changing accidents, which was pretty good. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but considering that the idea was come up with in about 1995 to 2001, it was brought to like reality in about 2001 to 2003, scrapped for a little bit, brought back, and now I would say probably about 10, 16 years tops that it's been actually used in production with like people on the road. So 14% since I would say 10 to 15 years ago. It doesn't seem like that bad. I mean, maybe if the numbers go on, it could get better, it could get worse. Some people might not like it. Some people might, hey, it's nice, saves a coffee, saves a life, whatever the case is. But yeah, I mean, just a couple components here. You got your sensors, you got your actual module here. This is a wired system, so you got a bunch of your wires. The radar system's up here. You got LEDs, just kind of tells you in the car, like, hey, LED, got somebody sitting there. The radar system and the camera system's kind of hand to hand, but the radar system's a little bit more accurate. And then obviously wiring's a big difference for Bluetooth models or wired models. Just whatever, a little bit more accuracy or a little bit more clean looking, whatever you kind of fit your preference. But this is just a bit of a practical vision of it. Like, you got your car going on the road, you got a couple side sensors, not really blind spot sensors for the most part, it's just kind of like preventative sensors. Then you do have your blind spot sensors that are behind you. Again, just have a little bit of a picture there, just showing you on your dash or wherever you might have on your console. But yeah, I mean, it's not a long time it's been implemented, but I think just with the few years that it has been, I think it's gone a long way, and I think it has a lot of potential for it. But thank you very much.